like LeBron, though, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.
All right, boom, boom, boom. This is Jared, and I'm back. Hey, you guys, super excited to do another Warriors Quest show. All right, thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to the show, please smash that subscribe button, all right? Hit it, all right? Because I need your help to get this story out there. I can't do it alone, and I ain't too proud to beg, all right? I need your help to get this story out there. We've got a very good kidney disease patient story tonight. All right, so you know how we do. All right, we're gonna get this party going. Okay, we're gonna get this started. All right, but if you're new again, not only hit that subscribe button. All right, but I'm the host of the Warriors Quest show, Jared A. Brown, and I have the wonderful opportunity to interview kidney warriors every single week, people who are searching for a living kidney donor. All right. Kidney disease, there is no cure. However, having a transplant does give a kidney patient a better quality of life. And we have an opportunity by sharing to help that message get out there to a potential living kidney donor. So don't be stingy. All right. Don't be stingy. Share this and let's get this story out there. All right. We got Steve watching. How you doing, my brother? All right. And I've got also Raymond watching. Raymond Rodriguez, all the way from Florida. All right. Thank you for watching, Ray. I hope you and your wife are doing well, Lori. So I'm going to bring on a very special cat. All right. Leon Hammond was my special guest in August and not too long ago. And I'm going to bring him on as my co-host tonight, Leon Hammond. All right. He is such a dynamic guy, brings so much to the table. I really felt like he connected not only with me, but to other kidney disease patients who are watching. So I'm going to bring him on. And when I do, please give him a very special Warriors Quest show welcome. All right. And drop a comment. All right. Let's make sure that we keep this interactive. All right. Drop a comment, even if it is hi, Jared, or what did you do to your ugly face, JB? Did it always look like this? Or did you do something recently and fall down and hit something? Drop a comment. All right. Let's do this. All right. And if you find me humorous, but you're funny, but drop a comment. All right, please. Here we go, though. I'm going to bring on Leon Hammond, co-host time. Here we go. Co-host. What up? What's going on, brother?
What's up, Jared? How you feeling this evening?
Oh man, I'm feeling well. Man. I am feeling well. Man, we've got some great people already commenting. Love it. All right, we've got Claire. Claire, thank you for tuning in. All right, and thank you for your comment. Jim Myers, thanks for watching and sharing. And Yvonne, thank you, Yvonne. All right, she finds me funny. All right, there we go.
Hey.
Yvonne is one of my TikTok friends. I met her
Gotcha.
through TikTok. Yeah. And Willie Blackwell, you and I both know this elder. Thank you, Elder Blackwell, for watching. Yes.
I met Willie yesterday for the first time.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Very honored to have Willie watching. And Izzy, thank you, Izzy. Izzy's been a co-host on my show, and she's a avid supporter of mine. Thank you for watching, Izzy. I appreciate your support. So, and super excited that you're watching me live, Yvonne. So co-host, glad to have you on, brother, as a co-host. So it's great to have somebody who is going through, the kidney failure. Although I have interviewed many people, in my time in regards to having the show live, I can't say that I totally have gone. I can't say I've gone through it, but I have empathy, and empathy is a great quality I think we all should have. And so I do have great empathy, but certainly does bring a lot when I have a co-host and you can give feedback and and comment and so on and so forth. So I'm glad to have you on, brother. All right, look at this. I want to shout out to this brother, James, from Dadvice TV. Thank you for tuning in, James. Very thankful for you commenting and tuning in. James also has a great YouTube channel. He has a bunch of educational shows. He's good at what he does. All right, so we've got a special guest tonight. She said offline when we were talking to her before we went live that she lives in and around Boston, and I think it was Waterford. Is it Waterford? Yeah. Okay. I think I heard Waterford or Watertown.
Waterford,
I think it was Waterford.
Watertown. Yeah. Watertown.
All right, Watertown. I think she's nodding her head. Watertown. Okay. So okay. Watertown, Massachusetts, and her transplant hospital is the same as my sister-in-law's. And my sister, my sister-in-law, my twin brother's wife, she has the same transplant hospital. So we're kindred spirits now, because I'm already somewhat familiar with this hospital. I think the world of the transplant team over there because they worked miracles to help my sister-in-law. So I'm hoping they do the same for our guest, Erin DeLong, because my sister-in-law has had a PRA, Leon, of like 98%. So, so her antibodies or her blood will not react well to 98% of people who have her blood type. And so they worked wonders to find a match. They really did. It was the 2% miracle. So,
oh, wow.
Hey, thanks for, again, Steve. Steve was live just on another broadcast like 20, 30 minutes ago. And so thanks for tuning in, Steve. All right. And so
Steve was on my broadcast too. He gave me some help, tips and advice. So I appreciate that, Steve.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. So, and Yvonne knows Steve. Yvonne was on when I did a TikTok live last week. She was commenting on my TikTok live. And so she had applied to be a donor for Britta on TikTok. And Yvonne wasn't a great match, but she still wants to be part of like a paired exchange. And so she's still going forward to help Britta. Anyway, so we're going to bring on our very special guest, Leon. And so we've got that same VIP intro that I used when you came on. I'm going to play that now. We're going to bring her on and hear her journey and what she's experienced and hopefully share her story to the masses. Okay?
Indeed. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right, you guys give her a very special welcome. All right, drop comments of encouragement and support because you know what time it is. Here we go. VIP time. Oh, that baby at the end doing that noise always cracks me up on that. What is happening, Erin? What is going on?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Erin. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to play musical chairs just a bit because, we want everyone to try to focus on you as much as possible. And so I'm going to play musical chairs just a bit so that we got her kind of on a focus.
Right in the middle.
So, yeah, here we go.
There we go.
This is good. Let's do this right now, but I may move it around and put you in the middle so the focus on you when we do change it. So I may change the camera a little bit off and on. But when I add the chat and I bring the chat to the screen, it's going to make us kind of go to there we go. It's going to push us a little bit. So, so now, not only you hopefully don't have to look at your device and you can see the comments on the screen. And so keep the comments going, you guys. Don't be timid. Don't be nervous. You can comment. These guys don't bite, or they a little bit. But hey, I'm not telling. I guess I just did. But but here we go. Here we go. So I know, right? I've got many followers that know that I stopped nibbling and biting. I don't bite anymore. All right. So Aaron, so Watertown, Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Watertown, have you grown up there? Have you lived there all your life? Tell us a little bit about Watertown.
Yes. So I've pretty much lived here my whole life. A few years ago, I moved out to like the Worcester area, which is Central Mass, for a few years. But when I became sick a little over a year ago, we moved back this way just to be closer to the best doctors in the business. So
okay, yeah, I can't disagree with you there. My sister-in-law had, technically still has, although she's had a transplant already. But she was taken care of so well from her transplant team there, and the nephrologist that she has there. So what do you like about that team? I know what I like because I thought that they had very personalized care for my sister-in-law, and they made her feel like a, person and not just another patient. But tell me, in your opinion, what you found with them and what you like about them.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree with your sister-in-law. They're very personable, very caring. And I mean, this is scary for anybody to go through, and I think they definitely take my age into consideration, just being that I am like 24. So they're very attentive to me, as they seem to be with all of their patients. And yeah, I have a lot of like anxiety going through this, which I'm sure everybody does. So they're just very attentive, and I really appreciate like how much care they show me.
Leon, she just mentioned that this is a very difficult thing to go through, and firsthand, this is not an easy thing to go through, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. It's tough, and I empathize with you and sympathize with you completely, just because I'm currently going through it as well. And just when you said your age, it just really took me by surprise a little bit, because when I was first diagnosed with my kidneys, I was 25. So I just realized how scary it can be. And I'm assuming yours may be more urgent than mine was at the time. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge trying to accept it all and understand the why or what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of the why, can you tell us a little bit about maybe what they said may have been the reason? Whether it's high blood pressure, diabetes, or something else. When did you find out? You're 24 now. When did you find out that you had some form of kidney disease, or was it an emergency sort of situation?
So yeah, it was actually very bizarre how it all happened. Like, to preface, I've been sick with multiple like autoimmune diseases my whole life. Like, I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 4th grade.
Wow,
and I was on
really?
Yeah. And I was on some really heavy duty medications through my childhood into my young adult life. And then basically how I found out was it just seemed to kind of decline very fast I'd been fine, had no issues with my kidneys, and then went for my yearly primary care visit where they did blood work, and they pretty much called me immediately and said that my kidney function was really low and that I needed to go to the hospital. And that was just kind of the catalyst to everything. I ended up having,
Wow.
I had a biopsy a few weeks after the fact. And once the results came in, I believe it was already stage 4 at that point, teetering end stage.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So it all happened very, very fast. So they're not really sure if it was a particular medication that I was on, which has been known to cause like nephrotoxicity, or if it could have just also been the fact that like when you have an autoimmune disease, you know, like your body's kind of attacking
Right.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not really sure, but
I, you know, I can only begin to imagine how you must have felt. But I have interviewed other patients that have autoimmune diseases such as lupus, and that lupus will also like trick the body to attack itself as well. And so many lupus patients will have to go on dialysis eventually because of that. And so, who knows? Maybe that is the reason, but for whatever reason that, that this has become your journey. And are you currently on dialysis? Or are you still more towards the stage 4 where you're being preemptive?
no, so I am on dialysis.
Hmm.
I initially started out on peritoneal dialysis last
Okay.
September, but because of having Crohn's, it wasn't a good fit for my body. I kept getting infections.
Okay.
So I just switched to hemodialysis this summer.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
And are you
I just had a question.
go,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
go, no, you're fine. Go ahead, Leon.
Oh no, I was just gonna say since you said when you were diagnosed, it was kind of stage 4, end stage. What percentage were your kidneys at the time? Did they say? Or?
It was, I believe it was, I think my GFR was like 24.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So yeah, you're right around the mark where recently when I got involved and last made mine were hit right at 20%, and that's when they started talking about transplant and looking for a living donor. Fortunately, I haven't had to get to a point of dialysis, and I'm hoping I don't have to because I hear it can be tough. I really feel for you because you've done both sides, and with your pre-existing conditions, I'm sure it's extremely tough on you right now.
Yeah, I hope that dialysis, I hope you can avoid it as well. It's definitely not easy, especially chemo, I will say, has been very
Right.
hard on me.
So, Steve has a question here. If you perform home hemodialysis or outpatient, like in center?
So I right now I go to my clinic because I have a chest port. So they
Okay.
don't allow
Mm-hmm.
you to do that at home, at least here in
Mm-hmm.
Massachusetts. I did recently have a fistula placed. I'm actually getting my staples out tomorrow. So, hopefully
Oh,
in a few
wow.
months,
All right.
Good.
yeah, hopefully that will
Good.
Okay.
mature sooner than later. And then I'll definitely look into probably doing it at home eventually, just because it will probably
Okay.
be easier.
All right. Good. Good. I would encourage you to research it. I can never make that decision for you, but I think that if more patients did their homework and researched it, and made that decision whether it's good for them, and it's not good for everybody, and not every person is going to be the same. We're all different, but I just would hope that everybody has the education and is given the opportunity presented to them. And if you find that it's good for you, then in many cases I've found that when I've interviewed people, they say that it gives them more of a refreshed feeling because they're dialyzing more regularly,
Mhm.
instead of 3 days a week. But you do what's right for you. So, in fact, Steve beat me to the punch here a little bit, so to speak. He's asking how your fistula is maturing. So, are they having you like squeeze like anything? And
Yes, I have a red kidney that I squeeze.
all right, okay.
I guess I'll find out officially how it's maturing tomorrow when I see my surgeon. But
Okay.
my nephrologist and all of my nurses at my clinic have said that the surgeon did an amazing job, and it
Yeah.
seems like they can already, the thrill's there, and
Okay.
you can hear it. So
Feel it and everything. Okay.
exactly. So it seems
Yeah.
like it's going well, but I also know that I'm expecting, it's common to have some complications where they have to go back in and fix things. So
I like that your doctor's already talked to you about that, though. It's I don't want doctors to totally just focus on bad things, but because there must be a balance, right? But I
yes.
think that if someone gives you the good information and the bad, and they give you, both, I think it's got to be balanced. But I'm glad he at least said something like that. So no, yeah. So what Steve's saying is that sometimes what happens is if uh, if you have small veins, then they have a harder time or slower time maturing,
Mhm.
and that sometimes is why some people stick to having a graft versus a fistula because of small veins. But I think you already answered that in regards to you're going to see how that goes on your next
Mhm.
appointment. But so Leon, one of the things that I'm going to ask her a question, Leon, and so it's somewhat funny, but it's not. Is that do you have any cats, Aaron?
Cats?
Yes. Do you have any cats?
No, but I have 2 dogs.
All right, 2 dogs. All right. So I hear that cats, all right, and anybody watching, you can drop a comment if you can relate, but I hear that they're very drawn or attracted to the thrill, to the fistula where it's making that vibration, and it makes sense if you think about it because, cats
I,
like that, right? So
Mhm.
anyway, I was going to ask you if you could confirm that, but
My one of my dogs is definitely interested in it, I will
all
say.
right, all right, all right. So it's already happening with the dog. Okay, what is it?
Mhm.
Roll.
He hears you.
That's my best Scooby Doo. All right, so 2 dogs. I've got a Labradoodle. His name's
Oh,
Bo.
cute.
Yeah, he's really not really. He's not really a puppy anymore, but um, a little over a year and a half old now, and he's got tons of energy. What kind of
Mhm.
breed or breeds of dogs do you have if they're different breeds?
Yeah, so we have a 7-year-old Chihuahua mix. Her name's Ruby.
Nice.
And then we have a 4-year-old rescue like pit mix, and his name is Whiskey.
Whiskey. All right, I like that.
okay.
Those are
All
unique
right.
names. Yeah, very cool.
We're a one dog household. We got a big old
All right.
lab shepherd mix named Gracie, and she's a little long in the tooth, so she's kind of slowing down. We're gearing up, looking for
Okay.
purchasing another dog at some point because the little ones they're gonna need it if she goes. They love her too
Right.
much.
Mhm.
I hear you. That's my son's 11 years old, and we just really felt like having a dog because I'm remarried, and I've got 2 older daughters from a previous marriage, and they're in their 20s, and
Mhm.
my son is 11, and and I've got a stepdaughter who's married, so he's kind of an only child, so to speak, right? You hear what
Mhm.
I'm saying, guys? So having that
Mhm.
dog is kind of like having another brother, right? A furry white
Mhm.
brother, but he's nonetheless a brother. And so for similar reasons, I just think dogs are great for kids. Don't I love cats too. I've got an outdoor cat, but
Mhm.
as you could probably tell, because it's an outdoor cat, my wife's more of a dog person.
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
But anyway, um, so tell us a little bit more about where you go in center. And you've talked about your transplant team and your nephrologist. It sounds like your vascular surgeon has done a fairly good job so far. So let's learn a little bit more about your techs and your renal nurse and then,
Mhm.
how well you're bonding or clicking with them.
Yeah, I love all of my nurses. I'm very fortunate. It's in Waltham, which is the next town over. It's like a 3-minute drive from my house, 15-minute walk. So I actually like to walk in the mornings just to
Okay.
wake up a little bit. And it's a very small clinic. I think there's like 10, maybe 12 chairs max. So everybody knows each other. It's the same, obviously the same crew every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning for me. So everyone's like, "Hey, how are you?" Chat and like the patients chat, and yeah, all the nurses they're great. I couldn't ask for a better like team.
All right. Very
How
cool.
I was gonna say, how long do you dialyze when you go? How long are your sessions?
So right now, fortunately, only 3 hours. But they did warn me that inevitably that will kind of sneak up. So hopefully not anytime soon, but
Okay.
Gotcha.
Keep a good blanket with you. Does it get a little cold in the air conditioning?
yes, they're very nice, and they like when you first start going, everybody gets like a little custom blanket. So
All right. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
yeah,
Keep
No,
safe.
I like that. Yeah, it helps kind of foster a relationship when you do that. I like that.
yes. And
So
my nephrologist, I really couldn't say enough amazing things about her. I actually met her inpatient.
okay,
I kept getting peritonitis with the
your
peritoneal
PD,
dialysis
yeah.
there.
Mhm.
So I was in the hospital, and I had to make the decision to get the port in my chest because I just couldn't dialyze the other way. And she was the nephrologist on call, and she actually um, was so like passionate about like my case that she normally didn't accept my insurance at her clinic that she runs that I go to now, and she like overrode the insurance so that
Oh,
she
really? Wow.
yes she could
Wow,
take me as a patient.
She
it's
really stepped
amazing.
up then. Yeah.
She really did. She's amazing.
So, Aaron, you had mentioned that you like to take walks in the morning, and I like that statement because there are so many good things about taking a walk. Number one, vitamin D, which can be good, but with autoimmune disease, I'm not sure if you've got to be careful or not. I know some autoimmune diseases you've got to be careful with too much, sunlight, but there's the vitamin D that you get. But I think there's also something very therapeutic about getting outside. What is it that you like, and what is it that maybe makes you do it more regularly?
I would say I love just like putting in my headphones and being able to like start my day off just like listening to my favorite songs and just like the fresh air, especially now that it's nearly fall in New England. Like the weather is already starting to be so much
Okay,
better. I
yeah.
love the fall, so just that nice like brisk air in the morning and listening to my favorite tunes just puts me in a good mood and like puts me in a positive mindset.
Oh my
What's your
gosh,
go-to tune?
Wait,
I was gonna
sorry.
say, I was saying, Aaron, what's your go-to tune when you're walking? What we listen to in the headphones?
What are you vibing to?
That's a good question. I'm a big Swiftie, so I really like Taylor Swift.
All right, all right, all right.
Um, I also I'm Romanian, so I listen to a lot of like Romanian pop stars.
Okay, okay.
Um, yeah,
Still
like
romantic
I
language.
like pop music.
Okay, very
Gotcha.
cool. So I lived in Germany for a couple of years, and I met some Romanians. Very good people.
Yes.
So the music, Leon, that's a powerful thing, huh? I mean, it can really put us in a good mood.
For
It can
sure,
change our mood. It's very
for
powerful.
sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my ride every morning once I drop my daughters off. Get my tunes going, kind of get me motivated, ready to deal with the craziness of high school kids all day. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
you gotta get charged up in the morning sometimes.
Yeah, it's a good way to get charged up, motivated. I know some people listen to podcasts, self care, all sorts of good things when you're we've got your headphones on. So I think that's great. And then listening to whatever noises, or not really noises, but sounds, right? Whether it's a bird chirping, you know what I mean? Or a neighbor that's, I don't know, just sounds, can help you feel more grounded.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting. I've tried to learn a lot of things about self care, and many many people will say that it's good to touch something, like touch a microphone, whatever is nearby, right? Touch something, also taste something, and then hear something, So it's a little bit of a trend, senses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, touch, taste, feel, or hear, then it something can help you get grounded when you're feeling anxiety and stuff. And so I think when you go outside and you're either outside and you hear sounds, familiar sounds, neighbors, birds, whatever, and then you've got your Taylor Swift on, and she's talking about these multiple breakups and these ex-boyfriends, then you're vibing, and it's a positive thing that you've got going on. So I totally respect that. That's good.
I see a question in the chat from Izzy
Yeah.
Black. It
All
says, I'm
right,
at
here we go.
23% and find myself getting more tired. How do you battle fatigue?
It's a great question, Izzy.
That is a really good question. To be completely transparent with you, it's really hard to do, especially as you feel like maybe your health is kind of starting to decline. For me, I just try to limit my naps during the day as best I can. But also, if I'm just like really having a day where I need to rest, it's just like being sympathetic to yourself and reminding yourself like that it's okay. Because I kind of get very anxious, like, oh my gosh, I'm not being productive, like I'm so sleepy, and then you just have to remind yourself like it's okay. It's okay to sleep. Like you're very sick.
Okay. That it's normal, right? And you're doing something that's okay. I like that. So when you felt very fatigued, since you're on dialysis, this is a question that that I probably commonly ask, is that how often is it that you feel refreshed after dialysis, or because of the stress that dialysis puts on you, is it making you feel more drained?
So when I had very first started hemodialysis, my first few sessions, I walked out feeling like $1,000,000. Like I was like ready to go. And then unfortunately, the more I started to do it, I actually started to get very, very sick during the treatments. So I actually have to take some pretty heavy duty pain meds before my
Okay.
sessions
All
because
right.
yeah, I get very sick from it, but definitely I'm exhausted after. I'll sleep for many, many hours after dialysis.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So what about during dialysis? Are you able to settle down where you nap during dialysis, or are you so alert that you can't fall asleep?
I would say most of the time I'm able to doze off, or I watch like the George Lopez show is always on.
Okay.
I
I
watch
love it.
that, um, and like maybe play a game on my phone. But usually I'm able to just relax.
Okay. And and it sounds like you've got a good relationship with your techs, that you trust that they're doing, at least as good of a job as they can do. Um, and if they hear like a beeping sound, some sort of alert, that they're gonna take care of you, right?
Yes, they're always constantly walking around. The second a machine goes off, somebody's there to take care of it. So they're really awesome in that way.
All right, cool. All right, Leon, we've got another good question right here, but I want to give a shout out to P Teach. The Journey, I believe the Journey is Lisa Gee, and
Okay.
P Teach, I'm forgetting, and I apologize that I don't remember your YouTube handle, or I don't remember how it connects with your real name, so I apologize. But we've got I'm going to show it right here. Steve says, how much fluid do you remove each treatment on an average? Do you remember what that is, and have they ever told you how much fluid is taken out?
Yeah, it's a very minimal amount. I'm very strict with myself about my fluid intake and like my diet. So I'm like very conscious of like my sodium intake and all of those sort of things. So they never really have to take off much fluid, fortunately.
Okay.
That's good.
So what about your high blood pressure?
My blood pressure is very high. So I do take like a medication for it.
Okay.
But really, the only time I have like a normal blood pressure is right after dialysis.
All right.
But then
Interesting.
Did you have high blood pressure prior to, getting diagnosed with kidney issues, or is it something that kind of started afterwards?
It's kind of like a chicken and
good
egg
question.
situation for me because
Okay.
I'm actually not really sure because I don't know if like for the year before I went to my checkup, I had just started to have high blood pressure. So to be honest, I don't really know what came first.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I see.
Well,
Steve is
I
asking.
hope that you're. Oh, is he? Okay, let me go to that.
Yeah, he just asked one about urine output. Does she
Okay,
still
there we
have
go.
urine output?
Yes, I do still urinate a pretty decent amount. So that also helps with not having too much fluid.
Okay.
And that's something that we take for granted. Man, I've interviewed so many people, and one of the first things they say after transplant that they're thankful for is that they have that sort of capability again. It's amazing how we take that for granted and we don't think about it. So,
Yeah.
so usually, and it's up. It varies and fluctuates with whatever direction that your nephrologist is trying to direct you. But um, let's hope that that we can make sure that your levels continue to do well. But my whole point right here on this show again is to help you get as much exposure as possible so that we can help somebody find compassion. And so oftentimes when I ask questions, or it's not to focus on bad stuff, but quite frankly, and Leon knows this, is that people that aren't already connected to kidney disease, if they don't have a loved one that's on dialysis or is connected to kidney failure in any way, they just don't understand some of the bad, the worst symptoms, like chronic fatigue that you've talked about, or blood pressure. It was a great question, Leon, because oftentimes because of the stress that dialysis puts on your heart,
Right.
your high blood pressure can go up, and then sometimes it can go really low, and sometimes and that's a concern too. But anyway, so Steve's got a comment here that I'm going to put up while I'm talking, but so he says we see that with a lot of people, the blood pressure comes first, or did the kidney disease create the high blood pressure? Yeah, and so it's kind of like what we've discussed already, and so it's when I bring up things like that again, it's not that I want to talk about the negative stuff because nobody enjoys talking. Well, our brains are unfortunately focused that way. That's why we
Wired that way.
can't
Yeah.
look away from it. I know. That's why we can't look away from
Car
a
wreck.
train wreck or a car accident, right? But it's never enjoyable. But I want somebody who's doesn't either have a clue or doesn't really have the understanding to get a better, understanding, hopefully more empathy for what you and Leon are going through, because it is a battle. And that's why I have the name The Warriors Quest Show, because you're battling every day, Leon and Aaron, and you,
Mhm.
you know, you have things that are affecting your body, whether it's anemia or, you know, high blood pressure or whatever it is. So it's yeah, and Steve's, and it's good to have these conversations to help educate people about the condition. You're absolutely right, Steve. In fact,
Yeah.
that was on another broadcast that Steve was on earlier. That was kind of also what he was discussing is education is so important, and unfortunately, there's not enough education about what leads to type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure that's out of control. Now,
Mhm.
sometimes it runs in our family, so to speak, or it's in our genes, right? Like, I'm you know, it runs in my family for high blood pressure, you know, and so I take lisinopril, you know, for high blood pressure currently. But if I would have been more educated about it, maybe right now I wouldn't have to take lisinopril, you know, if I had really balanced it when I was younger, you know.
Right,
So
right.
education is so key. It really is. So I totally agree with Steve about that. And, you know, and then Lisa Gee from, you know, her YouTube channel is The Journey, but it's Lisa Gee. She's been on my show, kidney transplant recipient, and now she's back
Mhm.
on dialysis. Um,
Hmm.
I think it's because of, I think I got this right this time, Lisa. She's a sweetheart, by the way. I love her. It's because of cancer, I believe, that she had to go back on dialysis. I think that's right. Anyway, she's back on dialysis, and mood swing is another one. Um, there are so many different, you know, I did a TikTok video recently about the worst symptoms of kidney disease, and I probably left out a bunch, you know, but I just gave examples. And you know, and I talk about those because I just want, yes, it was. Okay,
Kidney
she's too,
cancer. Okay.
yeah, so
Kidney
I was
cancer.
right. Not always right. Ask my wife.
You've
Maybe I
been there
should have
too.
recorded. Yeah, I know, right? I should have recorded that. My wife would. Oh, but it's good to have these. Or is that an old one? Yeah, I think that's an old one. I thought that was new for some reason.
Oh
Um,
no, I agree with Steve on that one. I was just thinking about this, listening to Aaron's story, because my GFR is like 18 now, and
it's
the
okay.
fact that I'm not on dialysis, it's just I'm learning a lot, just seeing how we both are in that stage 4, but how our situations are so different. So I'm learning a lot from you, not having been on dialysis or not having been down that road getting the fistula put in or anything right now. So this is very educational for me because one day that could be me if I don't get my kidney in time. But it's just learning how two people can be within the same stage yet be different. It's not a one size fit all thing. It can vary so
Hmm.
much. So this is really eye opening for me. Getting to hear your story.
Amen to that. It is. And to hear that, you know, that early on you found out that you've had an autoimmune disease, and then, you know, that you had to deal with those issues on top of your, you know, kidney disease right now, and you're on dialysis. It's admirable, and I admire your strength and courage as well. So Steve has a question here. I don't remember whether I brought it up to you, Leon. I may have, but I don't remember. But he's asking a question here I want to bring up. So he's asking, have you tried Renadil to maintain kidney health? I can't
That's
remember.
actually something I remember. I remember that question from it, and I was losing my mind trying to remember how to spell it when I went to my physician,
Yeah.
nephrologist.
Okay.
But I asked him about
I
that, and
did
that was
bring it up
something.
then. Okay.
Right, right, right. So that was something the people at my nephrologist team or transplant team at Piedmont were talking about. I
Okay.
asked that question to my regular nephrologist, and that was something they were having a discussion about. Because though I was told my last appointment I'm at 18, my GFR is, all my other numbers were so good. So he said GFR may not be a good indicator for me that I may be functioning higher since I'm not having those issues. But
Okay. All right.
that is something that's the medication they were looking into for me because Steve, obviously that was the first time I heard about it when I
Yeah.
did the show in
Steve
August.
takes it. Yeah. Steve takes it. Steve he's been in the kidney disease world for
Mhm.
37 years. He's my go-to guy. He's my brother. You know, he's like a brother to me, and I love him as a brother and somebody who I respect and I had admiration. But he has I think stage 2 is where he's at right now, stage 2 kidney disease, and it really hit him hard when he progressed to stage 2, and so that's when he decided he wanted to make some changes, and one of them is to take Renadil more regularly. So Aaron, even with your on dialysis, there's no cure. We all know there's not. There's no herbal tea or potion or lotion, right? But Renadil is a probiotic, and if you're familiar with probiotics, I mean, they've been used for years, right? I know that even pregnant, expecting mothers can take probiotics, and so it's something that helps your digestive system, right? Probiotics. And it's something that helps break down toxins in a probiotic form, and so that's what helps break down and make toxins smaller, and then it goes out, you know, the the other way. Without having YouTube censor me for being too explicit, but anyway, so it's for anybody who wants to maintain and and make sure that their GFR isn't lowering. There's no guarantee, but it can maintain. Hopefully it does. It worked for many people. Their testimonials are pretty good. All right. Yeah, so that's a great analogy. I forgot to mention that. Steve's talked about that. It's kind of like a phosphorus binder. So with your diet, Aaron, you probably have been asked to take binders, right?
Yes.
Okay. So whether it's in a powdered form or the horse pill,
yes,
probably the pill. Okay, all right. So it's a good analogy. Steve makes a great analogy, is that it's kind of like taking a phosphorus binder, where the phosphorus binder helps, minimize and break down that phosphorus so that your body isn't absorbing too much phosphorus. Because we know that, well, if you don't, then maybe I can tell you what I've learned. And a lot of what I've learned is from Steve. Okay. I'm not going to lie, is that too much phosphorus, our body will take on too much phosphorus, then it can damage the calcium. And if calcium is damaged, then our bones can start to break down. And so that's why it's so important that we don't absorb too much phosphorus. Mm-hmm. All right. So I have a 7-month-old pit. Her name is Rosie. Very nice. I love pits.
Yes.
They get a bad rap, right?
They do, but I love my dog. I couldn't ask for a better dog. He's awesome.
Yeah. They get a bad rap. I mean, me too.
Pits.
Yeah.
I think it's about the training. It's about the parenting.
It is. Amen to that. So binds the phosphorus and eliminates it in the stool. So it's a lot like a binder. The Renadil is going to break down the toxins, and then it eliminates it through the stool. All right. So hopefully YouTube's okay with me saying stool, because that could mean a chair.
That's the cleanest way to put it.
Right. Yeah. So at any rate, so binders, the horse pill. No. So these are things that that I bring up. Not that a horse pill is the worst thing that someone could take, but again, it's just one of those things that sometimes there's a big misconception that when someone's on dialysis, well, one of the things that many people that are on dialysis hear is, well, you've got a life support and it's helping you keep alive. You should be thankful. Well, yes, you are, but it's not a great quality of life. And so I think that's where the education and awareness that that brings up in our conversation right now, mm-hmm. And so even Leon said this is helping him. It helps me. I mean, oftentimes when I go through this stuff and I talk, Steve's commenting, or I talk to a patient like you, Aaron, or Leon, I benefit. I can't tell you. I often, you'll hear me thank you for coming on my show, because I feel more I often feel like I'm receiving more blessings, and it, God, be willing. But I'm very honored to do this and to help you so that people hear your story. But it's definitely something I'm privileged to do, and I'm very thankful to do it. All right,
Thank
so we've
you.
got another comment. Steve, thank you for your comments. Please, anyone else who would like to comment, please too, drop a comment. So no damage, the bones, not the calcium. The two work hand in hand, phosphorus, high calcium, saw effect. That's why both have to be balanced. Okay, there we go. The balance has to be balanced. Damage the bones. Okay, so there we go. And then Izzy says right here, my nephew said
My
no
nephew.
Renadil or any other kidney vitamin except for calcitrol. So, and that's up to your nephrologist. I can't say your
Mhm.
nephrologist is wrong, but I don't know if you're saying vitamin, Izzy, or if the nephrologist did. But it's not a vitamin; it's a probiotic. And so,
Mhm.
doctors and nephrologists have been okay with probiotics for years, whether you're on dialysis or not. It's been widely used for years. So it's just be well informed, research it, and you may have a great nephrologist. I don't know your nephrologist, so I can't say bad things, or I wouldn't want to anyway, even if you had a bad one. But
Mhm.
my dad raised me better than that. But I will say that just do your own research and not just take a doctor's opinion, because
Right.
very good
Mhm.
doctors can still be wrong.
Yeah, have a discussion and see what happens. I mean, it may work for. I know it's working for Steve. He's having results. Maybe different for one of us, and or calcitrol may work. I'm not sure. So
Mm-hmm. All right. So she's saying all of her labs are great except the kidney function. That is really bizarre. How
same,
can you?
same. Man, it is
Yeah.
weird. White blood cell count was great. Yeah, we're unique. We're unicorns in this
Yeah,
kidney game. So
that is true. That is true. Minus vitamin D. Okay. All right. Vitamin D is a little bit deficient. Okay. Well, as
you
long
think
as you
there's,
don't have an autoimmune.
I
Go
would say,
ahead,
you think
brother.
there's any correlation to where you live? Because like initially when I was up north, I was taking vitamin D supplements, but as I moved and migrated south, they were like, "You're good. It's enough sun out there, exposure." So
Wow.
I
Huh.
mean,
I
when I
haven't
was in
thought of
Buffalo,
that.
yeah, when I was in
Yeah.
Buffalo, I had to take vitamin D. But once I moved to South Carolina and now Georgia, it wasn't something that they didn't feel like
Okay.
I was so dependent on, just because
Yeah.
I don't know if it's weather and you're getting more sun, or
Right.
climate. I don't know how it
Less
affects. So
forecast, less overcast. I mean, and
mhm.
less clouds.
Right.
Tennessee. That's where she's at. Okay.
It's hot there
Huh. I
too.
don't
So,
know. Yeah, it is. It
yeah.
is. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about, you know, so we talked about the binders. We've talked a little bit about, how dialysis makes you feel. That in the beginning, initially made you feel great, and then you've also felt drained, and then you take pain medication or medicine. So, give us just a brief synopsis of how it makes you feel on a daily basis. Do you feel, always tired? Um, do you feel like you get anemia? Is your iron low? Do you get insomnia? Tell us a little bit about, other things that you go through as well.
Yes, so I'm very anemic, and I also actually recently started experiencing pretty bad insomnia. Um, but I wanted to bring up a point you made earlier about the misunderstanding about it being like a cure when it's really like the quality of life on dialysis isn't great. So, like, kind of to answer your overall question, I
So
would
I'm
be
very
completely
anemic,
honest.
and I also
I'm not feeling great most of the time, even on my like non-dialysis days. Still extremely exhausted. I'll have random days where I'll feel like okay enough to like get a lot of like errands done and stuff like that. But yeah, I think going into all this, my first ever nephrologist kind of pitched dialysis to me in a way where I thought I was going to feel how I did before. um, I got sick, but I'm kind of have realized that really it's just kind of getting by in terms of like quality of life and how you feel on it. I thought I would feel way better, but you know, is what it is.
It is what it is, but I would encourage you to, again, be informed, well informed, but get more research and education on home hemodialysis and find out if next stage is the next stage for you, and if that's a good decision. I've just met some patients, it fits them well, and some it doesn't, and they prefer in center. But there are other patients that I've talked to that feel more refreshed and they don't feel as drained. And if you can have that same benefit, then that would be great. And so just I would love to hear that maybe that makes a little bit of a difference while you're on dialysis. That would be good.
Yeah.
But Steve had a question here: is if there are any other people your age at dialysis on your shift?
Not quite as young as me on my shift. There is one young man who I believe is in his 30s, so he's young to have kidney disease as well.
Okay.
But other than that, it's mostly us, and the rest are older folk.
Okay. And then sometimes that can also weigh with people, that can actually affect emotions too, is that when you go to dialysis and you see a bunch of people that don't necessarily look your age, if you see a bunch of seniors and then you're there and you don't identify yourself as that age group, sometimes that could be difficult too, it
I
could be a
also,
little alarming.
yeah, I get very anxious about like, just because I was saying my clinic is so small and everyone is so used to seeing each other, like if someone's not there that day, I tend to get very panicked. But then, luckily I haven't had to go through anything super traumatizing in that regard. Usually someone will just be at the hospital or on vacation or something. But yeah, it's hard when you're around people that, that they're not going to have a transplant and this is what they'll be doing for the rest of their life. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow, and just a tough environment to be in, I would imagine. So,
Yeah, it is. It's tough because you want to have that engagement. Like I would want you to feel like you can talk to someone next to your chair, Aaron, and that maybe someone sits next to you regularly where you get to know them, because you never want to just go there and not talk to anybody, because then you're isolated, right? That we're social people as humans. Even introverts at one point need to talk. It's just how we're geared, right? But when you do, and then unfortunately that person passes, maybe that senior that's next to you, you get to know that sweet lady and she has a heart attack or something, and that can happen, and dialysis is tough on their bodies, but it can be tough. So Yvonne had a question. I think it may have been a misspelling. I think she means nausea with an
yeah, I believe
S.
so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That autocorrect in the keyboard, right? So
That'd get you.
yeah, that gets me all the time. Maybe Steve can answer this. I've not heard that's good, but I'm not saying it's not. So maybe Steve can give us his opinion. All right. So Steve's saying, I don't remember what statement he is
Oh,
relating this comment.
he was just talking about, Aaron just saying having that anxiety if she doesn't see a regular there or
Right.
somebody on her shift. He was just, I think, in his line of work, seeing that every day. He's probably seeing other patients who feel similar to Aaron. It's kind of a comfort when you see somebody, especially what she's going through
Right.
and what they're going through, and then not to see him, I can see, you start thinking the worst case scenario, which is sometimes again our mind. Well, what's going on
It
with this
is.
person.
Yes, and Steve's gone through that. Unfortunately, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
He's talked to me about it. He said it on many of his shows. Is that he said goodbye to someone on a Friday, because someone who goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday sees them on a Friday, thinks he's going to see them again on Monday, and then the person
Yeah.
doesn't come back on Monday. And that's it's tough.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
so
can
that's
only
what he's talking
imagine,
about.
from that perspective, like I would imagine that Aaron probably feels like, being optimistic and hoping that she's going to get a transplant, but also thinking like, could this be me being on here for a foreseeable
Mhm.
future? Because my mindset is in talking to Aaron, it's like, man, I could be heading down this road where I am starting that process of getting on dialysis or becoming a dialysis patient. But there's somebody who's on there who's thinking like, is this going to be it for me? Am I going to find that match? So, I mean, I can only imagine that it is a challenge, and just kind of working through those things in your mind can be tough.
Mhm. Definitely. Like I would say my attitude personally has like ebbs and flows. I'll have days where
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like, this is what I have to do, and it is what it is. It's,
Mhm.
we'll do it. And then I have other days where I'm kind of sitting there in the clinic and I get very anxious, like, and I wonder, is this how I'm gonna die? Oh.
It's it's I can only imagine how difficult it may be, and ebbs and flows. I you're perfectly. It's natural to have ebbs and flows, and I think it
Mhm.
would be insane to have higher expectations that to 100% be up all the time. It's
Yeah.
just not possible. So kudos to you for doing things like the walking during the day or in the morning or wherever, and other things that pick you up, like listening to uplifting or encouraging motivational music, whether it's Taylor Swift or the Romanian music that you were talking about from maybe some contemporary pop artists in Romania. Whatever it might be, everybody has something that can that they
Yeah.
can relate, and when they do, it can lift their spirits in some way, and that's why you never know when someone smiles at you or when you smile at someone. You never know what that's going to mean to a person during the day. You
Mhm.
never know. All right, so Yvonne's got a question here about high potassium.
No, I do not have high potassium. I think I was saying this earlier. I'm very, very strict with my diet. So I would say it's pretty consistently always in a standard range for me personally. Not too
Okay,
low, but not too high.
good
Are
for
you
you, good
eating?
for
Are you
you.
are you on a particular diet, or is just your choices you make?
It's just the choices I make. Like I stay away from a lot of foods and high potassium. I do like potatoes, but my previous dialysis nurse, when I was on peritoneal dialysis, taught me that if you actually let potatoes soak for like 24
Starch.
hours,
Oh
it will
wow.
take out like half of the.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Interesting. I never knew that.
Hmm.
Is that why the
I
water gets cloudy when you let the potatoes soak? Is that what's coming out of them?
What?
yeah, I
What
could.
was-
I said, is that what's like if you let potatoes soak? You ever notice the water kind of gets cloudy and murky? Is that what's
yeah.
coming out of them? Okay, gotcha.
All
I'm not
right,
sure.
that makes sense. No, it was that's interesting. Bleaches out. Yeah, that's what Izzy's saying. I can almost imagine that as well. Leon, I
Mhm.
think you're right. It's probably you've got them leaching out and like perspiring in some way or something. Interesting.
Gotcha.
So there's some cultures, like I lived in Germany for 2 years, and the Germans don't bake potatoes. They only boil them. Yeah. And so that made me think of, how other cultures do potatoes. It's interesting. Maybe they do it for similar reasons. I don't know. All right. So Steve says right here, have your clinic show you how to change your catheter dressing if the dressing comes off.
Not necessarily. I would say I've learned just from watching them, but they're very like infection conscious. So if anything were
Okay.
to happen, they would want me to like go directly to the clinic, or if they weren't
Mhm.
open, honestly, they would probably tell me to go to the hospital and have someone do it. Like they do not want us touching our catheters at all or like anywhere
Okay,
near it. Yeah, they're very,
gotcha.
very like conscious about infection.
Very
Okay,
cool. Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so Steve even confirms it. That's so interesting. I learned something today. I love learning. So
Right.
I learned that you can reduce the potassium by soaking potatoes for 12 hours. That's very cool. All right. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just say with the diet, was anything recommended for you though? Did they recommend anything specifically from your nephrologist or dietitian?
For me, just like following a high protein, low potassium diet, and obviously
Okay.
low sodium as well. Um, so yeah, I have a lot of like renal cookbooks that I'll look at for some inspiration. It wasn't easy at first, kind of giving up a lot of like the food or like having to modify a lot of foods that I like, but um, feeling good is definitely worth having to make the diet changes. So.
Yes. Yes. You make a good
100%.
point. I mean, seriously, thinking about it, Leon, how difficult is it to minimize both the phosphorus and sodium? I mean,
It takes
sodium,
you
you know what I
can't go to
mean?
restaurants a lot of times, really, because
Right.
that's what
Yes,
makes food at restaurants better is they put a lot of sodium on there. So
they do.
you really got to be mindful of what you do or consume when you're going out to places.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of sodium that restaurants uses, fast food restaurants in particular. There's a reason why we love McDonald's fries, right? They're pretty salty, but salt is it's one of my favorite sort of things that I like to taste. Like I love the combination of sweet and salty, right?
Mhm.
So chocolate and pretzels. I like salty stuff, but I've got high blood pressure. So
Mhm.
I've got to watch my sodium, and I can only imagine how difficult it must be to kind of balance that out because it's in a lot of things. And the phosphorus,
Mhm.
it's crazy how much phosphorus because they're creative with the verbiage, right, guys? I mean, the colas they'll call it like phosphate, and then you look on the back of something else, and they're calling it something else, and they're being really creative to try to hide it. It's nuts.
Mhm.
But anyway, so it's super difficult, of course, and so I seriously have so much respect, admiration for what you do every day, and I'm hoping, okay, that somebody who's watching today, all right, will feel inspired to act on what they've learned today and do something to give you a better quality of life. That's my that's my hope. It's my hope for everybody that I interviewed when I bring somebody on. That's my hope for you as well, Aaron. But we're a little over, and so I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank Leon. But Leon, you've brought some great questions, and you related so well. I'm going to just if I can just ask you if there's something that you would like to either ask or if there's something you would like to encourage her. What would you say, or what would you want to say before we end this?
Um, okay, for me, Aaron, I would just say continue to share your story. I was encouraged by Willie Blackwell to share mine, share your story. You never know who's going to be out there to help you. Continue to do, the best things to take care of yourself and just surround yourself with a great village of people. Surround yourself with people that love you on your good days, on your bad days, that are always going to encourage you to be the best version of yourself. Let them love on you, you love on them. And as Willie always tells me, you're going to get a kidney. I believe it. I'm going to speak it into existence. We're going to make it, and you're going to live a long, healthy life, and you're going to have a wonderful story to tell because this is just a small chapter in your journey.
Yes, it is.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much. And my prayers are with you as well. I know you'll find a kidney. I have a good feeling. Hopefully, you won't have to go on dialysis. So
I appreciate
it's
that.
coming.
Thank you.
All right. So before we say goodbye, I'm going to put my ugly mug on here and give you time to shout out anybody. Okay. Whom would you like to shout out, Aaron?
I would like to shout out my mom and my sister. They've been like my support system through this whole thing, and my boyfriend. We live together, and he's like he should just be a nurse at this point. He's amazing, and I couldn't ask for a better person in my life. So
Awesome. Very nice. Willie Blackwell, thank you for watching. So much respect for you, Willie. And he's even saying it, you will both get a kidney. And I want to almost echo what Leon says. He's a man that has a lot of faith. And his faith is something that I admire, and I hope that someday I have his amount of faith. I do. All right, so I want to thank you guys again, Leon. I'd love to have you back. You
Anytime.
know,
Anytime.
yeah, love to. Really like that you came on tonight, and I'll invite you again if you're open to coming back.
Always, always.
All right, brother. Thank you. Aaron, God bless. If it's okay, what I'd like to do is just get your permission to, from both of you, really. I may splice and cut this up and put it on TikTok and Instagram as little short reels
Yeah.
and TikTok videos. And then,
Absolutely.
yeah, and let's just share this, all right, and continue to share this on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere else that people can find this. But thank you all both for coming on tonight, okay?
Thank you so much for having me. God bless you both.
Same
Thank
to
you.
you,
You as
Jared.
well.
Keep doing
Okay.
good work, Jared.
God bless. Thank you, Leon.
Bye. Thank
All right,
you.
let me take this. Let me take that shat off thing. It was. I was like talking. I forgot I had it on there, and you couldn't see me. But so thank you. God bless you both. All right, and let's stay in touch and be blessed. Have a good evening. All right.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.
Okay. Thanks. Bye. All right. Love this interview tonight. Aaron, such a sweet spirit. And really, I know I've said it already, but I want to thank Leon for coming on again as my co host. Had great questions, very relatable because he could totally understand what she is going through. And I'm very happy that he came on tonight. And I look forward to when I bring him back as a co host again. Thanks, Leon. And thank you for everybody who commented. Yvonne, Willie Blackwell, Steve. Thank you, Steve, for bringing it with the knowledge and for confirming any questions that I may have had. Lisa Gee, Izzy Black, and I know I'm missing some that were commenting earlier. Jim, Uncle Jim Meyer, P Teach. I'm wondering who that is. That's I'll find out later probably. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Please don't be stingy. All right, please share this. Um, we can only it only takes one person that we reach that becomes a living kidney donor. Only one person. All right, if one person acts on it and is somebody who can start either a donor chain or is the direct blood match, then that's all it takes. It's just one person to move forward and take action. So please act on inspiration. Either become a donor by looking at the information scrolling across or donate a share. All right, click on that share button. Let's share this. But thank you again for everything. Thank you for the shares, for commenting, for following and helping me help other people and making sure these patients have hope. Thank you. God bless. Peace. All right, where's that outro? All right, here we go. Boom.
Ooh, like LeBron or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP, got my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.